She thought I wasn't watching. She was wrong. It was a Friday night, one of those evenings where everything felt routine. Familiar, predictable. My fiancée, Natalie, was getting ready for what she called a girls' night, something she'd done regularly since we got engaged. It was always the same circle: Tessa, Jade, and Monica. Loud, wine-fueled, chaotic, but harmless, or so I thought. I never minded. It gave me space to decompress, maybe watch a documentary or catch up on work. That night, I sat on the couch with my laptop open, half listening to a historical documentary, half scrolling through Instagram out of boredom. Then I saw a notification. Tessa was live. Her stream was titled Girls' Night Shenanigans. Out of sheer curiosity, I tapped in. There they were, the entire group, crammed into Natalie's living room. She was front and center in sweatpants, hair in a bun, wine glass in hand, clearly on her third or fourth round. Tessa was filming, acting like she was hosting a reality show. Monica danced behind the couch. Jade was already yelling something off-screen. It seemed innocent at first, just women laughing and letting loose. They started venting about wedding plans, dress delays, guest list drama, venue stress. It had been a lot lately, but we were managing. Then Tessa turned the camera toward Natalie with a grin. "So, how's your Mr. Perfect holding up with all this bride energy?" Natalie rolled her eyes, laughing. "Ethan. He's trying. Still thinks weddings run on Google Calendar and spreadsheets. So clueless." They all laughed. I paused the documentary. My stomach turned just a little. Tessa added, "He's like a golden retriever. Sweet, loyal, totally trainable." Natalie sipped her wine and smirked. "He means well. But I let him think he's in charge. Makes everything easier." Felt like watching someone flip a switch inside me. I sat up straighter, muted the TV. Then Natalie added, still laughing, "Honestly, as long as he keeps footing the bill and doesn't ask questions, I'm happy." I didn't exit the stream. Should've. But I couldn't. Then Monica leaned into frame and blurted, "Come on, be real. Are you still texting Zach?" That name hit like a brick. Zach was an ex Natalie once dismissed early in our relationship. "Old friend," she'd said. "Barely talk anymore." Natalie laughed nervously and slurred. "Shoo, not on live. You're gonna get me caught." Tessa cackled. "Only if Ethan ever figures out how Instagram works." More laughter. Then Natalie raised her glass. "To clueless men and their six-figure salaries." Jade chimed in. "May they never check our phones." That's when Natalie said it. How come? "He's too busy patting himself on the back to notice anything real." Tessa, still holding the phone, added, "You mean like you texting Zach while he's planning your honeymoon?" Natalie clinked her glass. "Exactly. Let him book the flights. I'll reroute the fun." They all erupted. I didn't. My heart didn't even race. I just stared at the screen, cold and quiet. Then I tapped the comment box and typed, "Am I?" The laughter on screen faltered. Tessa stopped narrating. Her eyes darted to the comments. Nat," she said, turning the phone. "You might want to look at this." Natalie leaned in. "Read it." Froze. Her face drained of color. "Oh my God," she whispered. Typed again. "The engagement's off. Good luck with Zach." Then I closed the app. I placed my phone on the table like it was contaminated. Walked to the kitchen. Poured water. The apartment was silent, except for the memory of their laughter. I left the engagement ring, a custom platinum design, next to her keys on the side table. Then I sat down and waited. 40 minutes later the doorbell rang. Loud. Repeatedly. Opened the door. Natalie stood there, mascara streaked, hair frizzed, still wearing the same outfit from the stream. Behind her was her mother, Judith, arms crossed. "Ethan, please," Natalie begged. It wasn't what it looked like. I was drunk. It was just stupid talk. I didn't move. It was exactly what it looked like. Judith pushed forward. "You humiliated my daughter over a misunderstanding." I looked at Natalie. Was it a misunderstanding when you said I was just your wallet? Or when you toasted to being clueless? Natalie choked up. It was girl talk. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough to say it in front of hundreds of people. You just didn't expect me to be watching. Judith snapped. You don't end an engagement in a comment section. I replied evenly. Natalie did. I just confirmed it. Natalie tried again. Zach doesn't mean anything. I haven't seen him in months. It was just stupid messages. He nodded. I don't care if it was emojis or an affair. You lied. You laughed about it. You showed everyone who you really are. Silence. I stepped aside. You've got 10 minutes. Take your things. She hesitated like I'd slapped her. Judith snarled. You'll pay for your share of the venue deposit. I'll make sure of it. I closed the door without a word. The next morning I had 30 missed calls, countless texts. Most were from Natalie. A few from Tessa, laced with sarcasm. One read, seriously? You couldn't handle a joke. Pathetic. I ignored them all. Instead I called Gavin Schultz, my lawyer. Smart, quiet, efficient. He'd helped me on a property deal before. Here's a rewritten, detailed, and original version of your story, with changed names and phrasing to avoid copyright issues, while keeping the emotional weight and betrayal intact. The hallway camera caught more than I bargained for. I never thought I'd be that guy, the one with the story everyone whispers about. You know, the kind of heartbreak you hear in barbershops or read about in online forums. Always thinking that'll never be me. It's like watching a tiger in a zoo. You know it's dangerous, but behind the glass it can't hurt you. At least that's what I used to think. Until the tiger got out. My wife, Dana, and I had been together for over 20 years. She wasn't a respected seasoned teacher back when we met. Just a bright, blue-eyed girl with sun-kissed skin who lit up the campus ballroom like she'd stepped off a Mediterranean cruise. I was drawn to her instantly. And while she had no shortage of admirers, somehow, she picked me. When I proposed, she said yes with the kind of kiss that makes the whole world tilt. I remember thinking I was the luckiest man alive. Marriage, of course, came with its storms. Fights, bills, miscommunications, sleepless nights with a crying baby. But we weathered all of it hand in hand. Our son, Mason, came along a year after the wedding. Now he's in his early 20s. With one eye on the future and talk of starting a family of his own. We lived in a modest house in the suburbs. Dana taught at one of the top schools in the city, and I worked as a steel foreman at the mill. It wasn't glamorous, but we made it work. Dana even picked up tutoring students at home in the evenings to help pay for the new Mitsubishi I'd finally bought on credit. My first car. I babied that thing like it was a Ferrari, polishing it every weekend like it was a religious ritual. Her students were usually seniors prepping for university. Older teens, she said, were more focused, less chaotic. I'd gotten used to seeing them come and go. There were the fashionable girls, the angsty boys, the ones who looked like they were in rock bands. Nothing ever raised alarm bells. Until one day the doorbell rang and I opened it to find a man, not a boy, standing there. He looked like he was in his early 30s. Clean-cut, confident, sharp. Hi, is Dana home? I'm here for tutoring, he said. And blinked. You sure you're in the right place? I get it, he chuckled. Not every day you see someone my age brushing up on high school material. But yes, this is the right place. Before I could reply, Dana called out from behind me, her voice warm and familiar. Too familiar. Come in, Caleb, she said, smiling. Don't be shy. He walked in and I stood there like a statue. She was dressed differently. A tight skirt, a blouse with a neckline that practically advertised itself. I noticed how his eyes lingered just a bit too long on her. I noticed everything. But I said nothing. Instead, I walked away, muttering something about a soccer match, and shut myself in the living room. The muffled sound of German phrases and laughter trickled through the walls. I tried to brush it off. I had bigger things to worry about. Deadlines, quotas, broken machines. But still, something about him gnawed at me. He started coming by regularly. Always polite. sometimes bringing a slice of cake or a bouquet of lilies. I kept telling myself it didn't matter. Dana said it was just business. Besides, I trusted her. That trust cracked on a random afternoon at work. I was in the smoking area, sipping burnt coffee and ignoring the usual dirty jokes, when someone mentioned how their buddy's car got vandalized. Acid across the hood. Obscenities scratched into the paint with a nail. Repair costs upwards of 20 grand. My heart stuttered. I imagined my Mitsubishi, my pride and joy, scarred beyond recognition. That night I visited my old friend Eric, a tech nerd who always had the latest gadgets. Told him I was worried about car thefts in the neighborhood. Eric raised an eyebrow. You want a camera? What, trying to catch your wife cheating? He laughed, but I didn't. I'm serious, I said. I just want to keep an eye on the driveway. He dug into his desk and pulled out a small black box. This one's solid. If practically invisible once it's up. You just need to sync it at home first. Mason helped me install it that weekend. We placed it in the hallway temporarily, planning to move it later to face the driveway. It blended in with the decor. I forgot about it within days. Weeks passed. Then one Saturday evening Mason and his wife dropped by. We were lounging in the living room when Mason asked, "Hey, did you ever check the hallway footage?" Shrugged. Not really. Why? Let's fire it up. We plugged it into the TV. Most of it was boring. Me leaving for work, Dana coming home, ordinary stuff. But then, the footage flickered, sped up, and there she was. Dana stepped in through the front door, followed immediately by Caleb. They were alone. The hallway was quiet. He wrapped his arms around her, kissed her neck. And then, an hour later, he walked out of the bedroom naked, heading straight for the bathroom like he owned the place. Dana followed moments later, her robe barely tied. My chest caved in. Mason stood frozen. His wife looked anywhere but at me. A minute later, they silently gathered their things and left without a word. I sat there trembling. My wife, my partner of 2 decades, emerged from the bathroom wiping her face with a towel, only to stop dead in her tracks when she saw the paused footage on the TV. "Explain this," I said, voice low and shaking. She crumbled, fell to her knees right there in the hallway, sobbing into her hands. We started after his second lesson," she whispered. "I never meant for it to go that far. Swear. I just felt seen. Alive again." I stood over her, sick with rage. "Alive. You felt alive while tearing this family apart. While letting him walk around here like a king in my house." "I couldn't help it," she cried. "I know it sounds weak, but it was like I was possessed. I couldn't sleep when he didn't message. I couldn't breathe when he didn't show up. It wasn't love, it was like a spell." I turned away. I couldn't even look at her. "I gave you my best years," I said, my voice hollow. "I built this life for us, for Mason, for our future. And you burned it to the ground over some fantasy." She reached out, grabbing my wrist. "Please, Trevor. We can fix this. Let's try again. Let's forget it ever happened." But I had nothing left to give. "No," I said coldly. "Go to him. Stay with him. And while you're there, think hard about who you threw away." I packed a bag and left that night. Because sometimes, the truth you find hidden in a hallway camera is more than just betrayal. It's the final nail in a coffin you didn't know was already sealed shut. Would you like a video script version of this for your channel? Or a version in first-person narration for storytelling effect? "You got a copy of that live?" he asked. "Screen recorded the whole thing. Comments included. Perfect. Don't delete a thing. Let's get started." I spent the day locking things down. Changed passwords. Cancelled her access to the joint account. Shut off her authorized cards. Transferred the utility bills. Made sure she had no connection to my finances or life anymore. That evening I emailed her office, just a formality, asking if her sales trip next weekend was still confirmed. The response: "Natalie isn't scheduled for any company travel this quarter." I forwarded that to Gavin. His reply: documented. We'll use it if needed. I checked her Instagram. All traces of us were gone. But Tessa had already posted again, drinking wine, captioned, "Strong women scare weak men." They still thought I was bluffing. 1 week later, I hosted a post-engagement dinner. Loki. Few mutual friends. Among them Liam and Noel, always neutral. I also invited Tessa. She didn't hesitate. Free food. I'm in. Around dessert I stood up. Thanks for coming. It's been a weird week. Before we wrap up, let's rewind to last Friday's girls' night. Tessa tensed. I turned on the TV. Hit play. The video rolled full clarity. Natalie's smug toast, the mocking comments, the Zach admission. Tessa's face went pale. You recorded that? No. You streamed it. I just watched. The clip ended. I turned to the group. Natalie and I are no longer engaged. There won't be a wedding. And the honeymoon. I hope Zach enjoys it. Tessa stormed out. No goodbyes. Just embarrassment. By morning she'd posted a moody selfie. Real women scare fake men. Subtle. But everyone knew. Few days later, Natalie showed up at my office. Her messy is read. My assistant buzzed in, voice hesitant. Mr. Carter. There's a woman in the lobby. Says it's urgent. I walked out. Natalie stood up. Just give me 5 minutes. Please. You already had your spotlight, I said. On Instagram. She reached out. I was drunk. It wasn't serious. You weren't drunk when you texted Zach. Or when you told everyone I was clueless. Before she could reply, building security appeared. Everything okay, Mr. Carter? She was just leaving, I said calmly. Natalie's voice cracked. I didn't think you'd actually leave me. You didn't think I'd see you. Then came the games. Fraud alerts. A $412 charge on an old joint card, skincare. I reported it. Shut it down. Rumors followed. Whisper campaigns. Tessa told people I was controlling. That Natalie couldn't breathe. An old college friend messaged me, confused. I thought you were the chill one. I sent him a screenshot. $2000 I'd transferred to Natalie last month. No questions asked. No limits. Then I sent the stream clip. The mocking. The lies. No reply. My lawyer called. She's spiraling. We're filing a restraining order. I didn't argue. Court was quick, cold, brutal. Natalie arrived looking like she was attending her own funeral. Tessa flanked her like she was her PR manager. My lawyer played the clip. The mocking. The financial manipulation. Submitted the fraud report. Screenshots. Rumors. Then Natalie muttered something to Tessa. You said he wouldn't actually go through with it. The judge heard it. He didn't need to yell. Miss Langford, this isn't heartbreak. This is harassment. The restraining order is granted. He turned to Tessa. And if you attempt contact on her behalf, you'll be included next time. Tessa fell silent. That was the end. Natalie moved back in with her mom. Quit her job. Went dark on social media. People stopped talking about her. The silence was better than closure. A month later I met Elena, a friend of Noel's. We grabbed coffee. She didn't ask questions. Just smiled when I said, I like things quiet now. As we walked to the parking lot, I thought back to Natalie's laugh, her wine glass, that live stream. She thought I was clueless. She was wrong. I just hadn't spoken yet.